GermanManufacturingStrategy.com.
Hi, this is Chris taking a look at the Tuesday, September 23rd trading session. You can see I have the economic calendar in front of you as I normally do to start out the video. Early in the day, a lot of French numbers coming out, but truthfully, not much to move the markets. French services PMI might be a little blip on the radar, perhaps in the CAC, but really beyond that, it's going to be difficult to call it a market-moving event. German Manufacturing PMI, though, expected to be 51.2. That should move various European markets, the euro itself. So that is definitely a number that we are watching as we go through the day. The UK really doesn't have a whole lot. Europe doesn't have a whole lot. Actually, the United States is fairly quiet too. Canadian core retail sales month over month anticipated to lose 0.1%. That, of course, will move the markets. In Canada, Canadian dollar, the TSX, if you have the ability to trade Toronto. Beyond that, it's going to be somewhat limited. I think we're going to have a fairly technical day during the session on Tuesday. Pretty quiet session. Monday was fairly quiet too, so not a big surprise. Looking at the DAX first, you can see that we did in fact drop a bit during the session after forming what can only be described as a perfect shooting star. So really not a surprise. I think we're still going to hang about 98 to 96. So I expect to see a little bit more softness in the DAX, unless of course those numbers tell a completely different story. I don't think so though. I think 9600 will be targeted. 97 could cause a little bit of a bounce, but really at the end of the day I think we're in a 200 euro range. Looking at the CAC, it looks fairly similar. I think 4500 with this gap back here that was in the month of July. There was a gap back here. The market is going to continue to offer 4500 as resistance, but 4400 should be support. So I believe a little bit of a pullback during the session today, and then we bounce as we continue to go sideways. At that point in time, I would think that perhaps buying short-term puts would be the best way to play it, but short-term being the key. Probably not more than a day at the most before we start to see the buyers step back in. You can see that the euro is getting pummeled again during the session on Monday. Not a big surprise. The real question is whether or not we can break down below 128. Those German numbers, if they come out poorly, I think that's going to be the catalyst. On the other hand, if we get a little bit of a bounce, I think we stay within the 128 to 130 level. And on the bounce, I am not buying calls. I'm actually buying puts at higher levels, taking advantage of US dollar value. No interest in buying calls in this market at all right now. And with those Canadian numbers, we'll look at the Canadian dollar. You can see the dollar has gone higher against it, risen against it during the Monday session, bringing it above the 110 level yet again. This area up here is causing a little bit of resistance. This pair likes to chop around, but I think if those numbers are poor out of Canada, expect to move to 111. If they are strong out of Canada, we probably can pull back and then start buying calls at lower levels. I think the writing's on the wall for this pair. It is going higher given enough time, especially with the way the oil markets have been acting lately. And with that, I've taken a look at the upcoming Tuesday, September 23rd trading session.